Hi, Ben. I'm a freshman at UB from Dutchess County. You talked about divorce rates and how divorce rates have been increasing in this country since the 1970s, and kind of alluded to that as evidence of the failure of radical feminism.
They sort of leveled off since like the 2000s, like the early 2000s. But yes, they're still higher than they were in the 50s and 40s.
Right. Couldn't that also simply because of the fact that women are now more socioeconomically able to be independent than men? Like, how can you say that radical feminism caused divorces and also ignore the fact that possibly it was just that women became able to be independent, therefore they started to divorce more?
Because they would be becoming economically independent in the same period as they were getting divorced, as they were getting married. Meaning that these aren't 20-year marriages that are breaking up. These are like 5-year marriages that are breaking up, which suggests to me a mental shift that's taken place in the nature of how we think about marriage rather than socioeconomic status being the indicator. Meaning that I suppose that economics could tie into this, except for the fact that people who are higher income tend to stay married more often than people who are lower income. Right? So that sort of undercuts the argument a little bit. Meaning that if you're richer, you tend to be married longer on average. People who are poorer tend to get divorced more often.
Where did you get that statistical trend?
The Census Bureau.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Robert. I'm one of the coastal liberals, as you'd say. I've been watching you for years now, and I read your book on the arguments to fight against people like me, and I feel bad because for the most part, the people who have been arguing against you aren't nearly as elegant or eloquent as they should be. But I would just like to ask, so one of your points you very strongly make is that it's unfair for people like me to label you as like a racist or a bigot just as like a smear tactic. But have you ever acknowledged that maybe it's not a smear tactic, but it's based on things you've said? So for example, on the Israel-Palestine conflict, you called the Arabs, yeah, you already know what I'm going to say. I'm sorry, no, I didn't mean to presume. Yeah, so you say
I've written several full columns about it.
Yeah,
I've talked about how people don't read the follow-up tweets. I wrote a column.
I've read some of the tweets, and the tweets were just as bad. I mean, you say a lot of things that are just racist, right? But then if I call you a racist, then you defend it by saying I didn't read enough, right? So what I was going to say before.
So give me okay, fine. So give me my racist tweets in context.
Okay, well.
Yeah, you came prepared. So right, go do it.
So you said the Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult. You before that said Israelis like to build. Did you?
Okay, now the follow-ups, because you said the follow-ups didn't make it any better.
Well, this is separate things that you said.
No.
Also
I want the
bad.
follow-ups to that one though.
Follow-ups to that specific.
Would you like me to
tweet?
get them? I'll get them for you.
If you have them, sure. But in the meantime, do you mind while you do that?
What was that?
Do you mind if I continue while you do that?
Well, I'd like to take them one by one. So
sure.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't we delay that one until the end while I look this up from the podium in front of 600 people?
You've also said. Okay. So on that particular issue, you've also said that the Arab-Palestine populace is, by and large, constitutes the most evil population on the face of the planet. Before you said that you've never brought up religion when it comes to abortion, but I don't think that you've avoided religion when it comes to the Israeli conflict, and I don't know that you can be completely unbiased in the issue, given that
Well, I can be unbiased on the subject that the Palestinians have elected 3 terrorist governments to form a unity government with the stated goal of the destruction of the state of Israel and the murder of all Jews in the area. So that I can be relatively unbiased on. As far as the idea that the Palestinian population... As far as the idea that the Palestinian population is more evil than other populations, they certainly hold more evil views than other populations by poll statistics, by how many Palestinians approve of terror attacks, by how many Palestinians voted for an actual terror group, Hamas, and another actual terror group, the Palestinian Authority, and another actual terror group, the Islamic Jihad. Okay, so I don't think that all views are equal, and I don't think that people who hold evil views are necessarily good. I mean, I'm sorry if the polls don't support the idea that everyone is equally wonderful, but everyone is not equally wonderful. Okay, I'm looking up these statements now, so if you'd like to give me a second.
But you've continued, you deny secular Zionism, and you...
Quote, okay, so here, I've got them in front of me. Okay, so I'll finish that one, then we can move. Okay, ready? There are many, many Christian and Muslim Arabs who are wonderful people, just not the ones who oppose Israel in the Israel-Arab conflict. That would be the response within the same Twitter thread. Okay, in the post Israelis versus Arabs, I wrote about Arabs who take part in the Israeli-Arab conflict, as anyone who can read knows. #dumbasses. Okay, quote, I think it has much more to do with the fact that the Palestinian leadership supported by the Palestinian population uses millions for terror. I should have been more specific. Arabs who actively seek Israel's destruction. Those would be the follow-up tweets. Does that sound like genocidal mania to you, or does it sound like I'm specifically labeling a group of people who have called for Israel's destruction?
I like to point out that you're not a racist, but they're dumbasses, and you're allowed to insult them.
Yes,
also,
because if someone calls me a racist without evidence, they are definitionally a dumbass.
What is genocide? Wait. What is genocide? Like so you said that you want to be like Churchill, right? And after the Allies, when they moved the German-speaking Polish out of Poland.
So now you're talking about a column I wrote when I was 19 years old that I morally abhorred and denounced myself. I think 6 years ago.
Yeah,
and have repeatedly said was a bad column that I wrote when I was 19 years old.
Okay.
Okay, so
next. I wish I had more time. Like, do you wanna get a drink sometime? Like a non-alcoholic beverage?
What was that? Say it one more time.
Do you want to get a non-alcoholic drink sometime? Because I have a lot here. I really do. I
know that you've got a book for. Let me just say this. For everything that you're going to say,
yeah.
I've addressed literally every one of those points. I have a column that I put out probably only a few months ago. And the literal title of it is, so here's a giant list of all the dumb stuff I've ever done. Don't worry, I'll keep updating it.
I didn't get that one in my research. I do apologize if I've misrepresented. Like, my research wasn't able to be so thorough, because it was a pretty last-minute decision to start, like, really going in trying to ask you a question.
And again, that's totally fine, and I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you asking me the questions. But if the notion is that I'm a racist before you actually read all of my responses to that.
I mean, the racist is just one part. I also like the transgender. Like, you don't believe in transgenders, and like that's not really supported by biology.
I don't know what that means. I don't believe in transgenders. I mean, transgender people exist. It's not something to believe in or not.
You've said that gender and sex are the same thing. They think they're synonymous.
I said that gender and sex are linked. I've said that femininity and masculinity are linked to male and female.
Just before you said that they were...
Right, there are two genders. I don't believe there are 1,000 genders. And if I think that if you're defining gender as just a random series of societal constructs, then there aren't two genders, there are infinite numbers of genders, because everybody is a mix of feminine and masculine. So why restrict it to 70 genders? Make it 6 billion genders, since we all have our unique mix of what male and female constitute. And yes, I don't think that there can be such a thing as a male in a female's body. I don't think that there is a female in a male's body, and I find the logic to support that and the science to support that utterly lacking.
Yeah. So, again, I didn't...
I'd be happy to get a non-alcoholic beverage with you and discuss it more fully.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is John, and I am a senior doing a political science major, and I would like to ask the question in regards to this. Sorry, it's my first time ever doing this sort of thing.
It's fine.
Okay. You stated that you didn't care about people's concern about the browning of America, which, in my opinion, is essentially not caring about the issue of illegal immigration.
No, that's not right. Sorry, go ahead.
and yet you support Israel's ethno-state by stating that Judaism must be preserved, since elements like this uphold Jewish national identity and culture, which I don't mind. But the fact that you don't care about the demographic change in America is kind of concerning, because we're all Americans here, right?
Okay.
And the question is, do you want our nation to end up like a third world country such as Brazil, or a disaster like Germany and Sweden right now?
Okay, so Brazil's a second world country. Technically, it's a developing country. It's not like a fully underdeveloped country or a failed state.
Then why is there a far-right candidate winning at the moment?
I mean, if you want to argue Brazilian politics, I agree that Brazilian politics has been dominated by the far left, but I'm not sure that that's of tremendous interest. Let's talk about the first question. Okay, when I say I don't care about the browning of America, what I mean is I don't care about ethnicity. It doesn't make any difference to me. The only thing that makes a difference to me is the ideals of the people who are coming across the border. Now, when people say I am pro-illegal immigration, I do not know where in the hell they would possibly get that. This seems to, when people repeatedly say stuff like this, and I see this meme all the time, oh, Shapiro cares about a Jewish ethno-state, but he doesn't care about illegal immigration. I was further right than Donald Trump was in the last election cycle on illegal immigration. I opposed the 2006 amnesty deal. I opposed the 2010 amnesty deal. I've consistently been anti-illegal immigration. I supported the wall. This is just a lie. The idea that I'm pro-illegal immigration is not true in the slightest. What I have said is that we ought to deal with how to stop the influx of illegal immigration and then deal with the people who are here and separate off the two issues. And when it comes to the folks who are here illegally, what we should do is we should assess those folks in the same way we assess everybody else coming into the country. Are they going to add economically to the country and culturally to the country? Are they going to make the country a better place? Or are they going to make the country a worse place? And that involves assimilation. Now, as far as the idea of the Jewish ethno-state, I don't care very much about, at all actually, about Jewish ethnicity. Jewish ethnicity makes no difference to me. What does make a difference to me is Jewish ideals, because I care about Judeo-Christian ideals in the United States, and I care about Jewish ideals in Israel, which is why I don't care, and I'm very happy, that thousands, tens of thousands of Ethiopian Jews who are black were flown to Israel to become Israelis. I'm very happy that tens of thousands of Russian Jews who were Russian were flown from Russia to become Israelis. My wife is Moroccan, right? She's Moroccan Israeli. So this idea that it's about ethnicity as opposed to ideology or ideas is just not true. The amazing thing about Judaism, just like most other religions, is you can become one. Okay, I can't become a black man. There's no way for me to do it, right? I can become a Christian. You could become a Jew, right? This means that there are ideological systems that you can buy into that allow you entry. And I believe that the United States should operate the same way. You can become an American if you buy into Central American ideals, but I'm not going to pretend that I care whether a bunch of people who are pro-America and pro-American ideals come from Cuba versus coming from Britain.
I understand that. I respect your beliefs and your right to hold them, Ben. I just think that personally...
I have a question for you. Why are you equating white or race with culture? Why are you saying these are the same thing?
Well, because most, Jews mostly practice Judaism, and just like,
Well, actually, most Jews actually don't practice Judaism, technically speaking. But is it most ethnic Jews are lefties?
Most of them are part of that. So it's only a minority of people that want to convert to Judaism, which I don't mind.
Okay, and it's only a minority of people who want to become Americans, or we should let in if they want to become Americans enough. I'm asking not about Israel, I'm asking you about America.
Okay,
I'm asking you about America. So you're saying that you object to the so-called browning of America. Why?
I'm just saying I object to illegal immigration, which,
So do I, but your original question was about the browning of America,
yeah,
so why?
Basically, it's basically like the open borders,
I agree
Germany
with you
and
about illegal
Sweden
immigration.
that's going on right now.
I agree with you about illegal immigration.
Yeah.
I asked you not about that. I'm asking you about the browning of America phrase, because that's what you objected to. I said I don't care about the browning
The
of
whole
America.
entire culture is changing at the moment, just so you know.
I understand that culture is changing at the moment, but I do not think that culture and race are inseparable. I don't think that brown people are less capable of becoming American, or black people are less capable of becoming American, or Jews, or anybody else.
And I agree that, when people come to this country, including, myself and my family who immigrated here illegally in the 80s, and I think that, that people that do it, they follow the law and they assimilate, they should do that.
Right. I mean, let's put it this way. Can we agree on this? I care about the liberalizing of America and the destruction of American values. I don't care about what the nature of the people who look like is who believe in American values. Those people are my family. Everybody who doesn't believe in those American ideals is not.
All right. Thank you.